why, when you walk into a store, do you choose A over B?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because of the relationships that you have that are pulling you.
So, I mean, on a simple level, we would call that brand loyalty or brand recognition. But what you're saying is that there's a gravity effect with the brands themselves that draws us into it.
Yes.
So going back to the example of Apple being a $1 million value, and we would say, if we were one of those examined relationships, if we give that a $1 million value, me as somebody, $1 million points, dollars, not $1 million point value, and I say I am one of those connected relationships, chances are with the whatever algorithm that I would have 8 things around me.
Yeah.
And then the idea is to know that algorithm so that if we then had Apple at a 2 million point value, we know, would I have 10, 12, or 16?
Absolutely.
That's the kind of...
Absolutely. I think that's... And then when you start adding up all the brands, all the things, that's why we have all these things around us. You know, it's because there are all of these big brands pushing all of these things, so then we end up with all this stuff. And we have all these things all around us. And it's not because we're making decisions to buying this stuff or we need this stuff. It's literally because this is the symbols that exist in this space, and they're reflecting things into our lives, and there's nothing we can do about it. there are no decisions. And we have stuff, and we all have different stuff because we all have different relationships, and they're all reflected differently. So if we're both connected to Starbucks, you know, you might have a coffee, I might have a mug. You know, or I might have the coffee beans, you know, or, you know, a coaster, a business. We're still connected to the same thing. They're reflected differently. There's different ways of reflect. There's different angles you could be positioned. Like, if it's a space, like if this abstract space exists, and you have this Starbucks here, and then you're connected here, and I'm connected here, this angle difference might reflect itself in different things. Like,
it could be a flat line there, but it could be like 90 degrees there.
Sure, we could be like this, right?
Yeah.
So if it was like this, maybe, you know, you have coffee beans and I have a card. But if we're both like this, maybe we're both getting coffee beans. But it's hyperdimensional. So there's, like, you know, so many different. You could be positioned maybe multiple places at the same time.
Because
it's also
if I'm thinking about it, but then I'm doing something like, or I'm thinking about tomorrow's Starbucks and I'm getting today's Starbucks. That's 2 different connections.
Yeah, it could be like that. It's maybe I skipped ahead on the hyperdimensional thing, but you want to think of this map of abstract space as not so 3D. Like, I was saying that the patterns are prisms. Like, there's many ways, right, of looking at it.
So you're kind of thinking, look at it as one thing, and then you flip it, and then you flip it.
You can keep flipping it, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's just like outer space. And it's not so static. But although it is very much like it, I think that there's more dimension to it, and you can be positioned in more than one place. But you know, it's you can't be positioned in all places at the same time. It's not just like you can be, but there's weight, so you're more likely to be positioned at certain places. So I would say it's a bit more quantum mechanical in that way, yada yada. But I would look at it as that everyone has distinct positions. I think that's what's important. Like, you would be positioned here, and I'd be positioned here within this space. More or less, even if you're flipping it, we're both like sort of here. We're not on top of each other.
Right.
You know,
distinctive space.
We have distinctive spaces, and at the angles at which we occupy those spaces, we have different reflections and probabilities.
I see.
And
so, okay, just to go back a bit.
Yeah.
The idea that we're all attracted to these brands and masses.
Even if you don't think you are.
No,
even because it's all unconscious. That's the thing. Is that even people are like, I hate that. By hating something, you're connected to it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The thing. It's
you're
crazy.
Still thinking about
exactly.
It. You're still.
It's so
pushing that energy towards that thing.
You would literally have to not know about it to be like sort of unconnected, but then you're connected to people that know about it. Therefore, you're still connected. You know what I mean? Like even if you're a baby and you're like, I have no idea about Starbucks. But yet you're holding on to your parents and they're into Starbucks. You're gonna have Starbucks around you.
So, it's gonna come into
still
your
gonna show
somehow.
up. I think that everything is still very separate. I think that there's collisions. I think that there's things that you could say about what's happening there, and that's what's messing up reality now. Like let's say for example, you have two systems in abstract space, and they're massive systems, and they slam into each other. That would be something that creates casualty and war. So anytime I would say that there's conflict is because these systems are smacking into each other. So let's say you have a map. So let's say you have this giant system that we're creating in abstract space.
That explains religious war beautifully, in its sense, because you have two bodies filled up with so much powerful thought and emotion, but independent. Like you've got huge groups of people thinking very much this one thing, huge groups of people about very much this other thing, and if they were to clash, that's a lot of conflict. Yeah,
100%. Like that's what a war would be.
Yeah, literally,
would
it's like
be
a conflict
when
of thought and
exactly when abstract space collides or pieces of it, it reflects itself into war. So that would be war. So the only way to stop war would be to make sure that they change paths. And the only way to make sure that they change paths is you have to build certain relationships that would pull this one out of collision of this one, right?
Right.
Like, so you'd have to set up new nodes here, relationships here, or use another body here to track this one, to pull this one out of the same, so they're not
direction. They're not on the collision course. Literally, You can give it another line to go this way, and another circle, and then this one goes around.
And that's amazing. That to me would be like exactly what we need to start doing. But the thing is that the way how we're doing it now is we have no idea what we're doing. Like there's no clue on how to set up nodes, like how the physics. So we're just saying things. We're like, say no to this. Don't do this. We have all the money we need. We can fix it. We can do that. It's like none of this stuff works because it's not creating the relationships in the right places to pull this one away from this one. So hopefully in the future we create a map of all the things that are existing and thinking in abstract space, and they're moving, and we know where they're going, and then I have no idea.
Thinking for sure.
Yeah, we'll be like, if we connect this with that, we can pull that away, and then it might be some weird thing like I don't even know.
It's such a complex picture.
Yeah,
so many things affecting so many other things. It's just like a constant domino thing, right? Like, would you ever be able to make a decision? Would it not be a constant chain of dominoes? Would you not think that if I made this change, it would change this, and because of the number of connections, would it not immediately become like the chaos theory? You start with a simple thing, but through layers of complexity.
Yeah.